This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now then, on Thursday I did this video which you probably saw, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but basically I was weighing up the pros and cons of going down the small wattage valve amp, tube amp route with a 2 notes torpedo captor and all of that kind of way as a way of getting guitar tones rather than using plugins. And I was literally, as I was making that video, I was kind of undecided, and I came to my decision in the video that, well, for my needs, for my requirements, for what I want out of, what I do with the guitar, then I'm probably just going to stick with what I'm doing at the moment, which is using plugins. And that probably upset a few purists, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not trying to say that, this is what you should do, or that, plugins are better than a real amp or anything like that. I'm just saying for my personal requirements, this is what I've decided to do. So today what I thought I'd do is talk you through some of the plugins and settings that I use. Primarily, I use a lot of positive grid bias amp, and this is the clean sound that I go for. As you can see, it's called 67 Dumble Clean, modelled on the clean sound of a legendary Dumble amplifier. I haven't modified this at all. This is just the stock preset that's in bias amp. If I want something that's just a little bit more British clean sounding, shall we say, with a little bit more kind of low-end thunk and mid-range to it, then this is the preset I'll use. Again, positive grid bias amp. It's their model of the legendary Marshall JTM 45. What I like about this is that it's a clean sound, but it's got sustain with it. It does overdrive. Obviously, anybody who's ever listened to, for instance, the Clapton with the Blues Breakers album, where Eric is playing the combo version of this amp, will know that it's it overdrives and sustains, but it does so in a way which is very, very clean sounding. It's weird. I can't really explain it. It's like a clean sound that's got sustain. Even it still sounds clean even though it's dirty, which is a bit odd. But enjoyable in a very nice way, it has to be said. If I want something that I tend to think of as the quintessential Marshall tone, the sort of classic rock tone, people go on about the JCM 800, and yeah, I don't dislike that sound, but I do prefer this one. Again, it's positive grid bias amp, and this is their model of a Marshall Plexi. Again, haven't changed any of the settings on this, just dialed in the preset that's in bias amp and thought, oh, I really like that. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then for the shouty high gain stuff, I'll do one of two things. I'll either use, there's a free plugin by Soft Drive, which is like a recreation of a Marshall Governor, which I'll often use, or there's a free Mercurial Tube Screamer VST that I'll use, or even the Behringer Vintage Tube Overdrive, again, Tube Screamer sort of sound. I might stick any one of those in the front end of that preset there. Or quite often I'll go for this preset again in bias amp. This is their model of the Diesel VH4 amp, which to me it's like somebody's taken a JTM 45 and given it an extra Weetabix for breakfast, or several extra, and a dose of steroids as well. It's got that sort of inherent tone. To my ears, feel free to disagree, but it's got that inherent JTM 45 kind of tone to it, but with just infinitely more gain and sustain on tap. This one, when it overdrives, yes, it doesn't sound clean. It sounds big and fruity and just so tonally rich that I just love this tone. So I'll tell you what, here's a little bit of an example of those 4 different settings, all being used in a track where I'm using them in a mix. Here's what they sound like. And there is, of course, a full tab for that solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing the solo as well. And there's the backing track, which doesn't consist of much. It's just bass and drums, because obviously all the guitar parts were, there's no rhythm guitar, basically. It's just those guitar parts played over, the bass and drums. But I'll stick all of that up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is, as always, in the description. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to everybody who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below. So, as I say, I use Positive Grid Bias Amp quite a lot, but I also have a copy of Native Instruments Guitar Rig 5. I know there's a new version out, but, I've got Guitar Rig 5 and I'm happy with what it does for me. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, basically. I tend to turn to Guitar Rig for those times when, I want something a little bit more 80s flavoured. For instance, if I want kind of a more 80s spangly clean sound, I use a preset called Prince in the Rain. I wonder which song that's modelled on. But even though it's kind of, referencing Prince, to me it has more of an Andy Summers kind of feel to it. This is what the settings look like. Let's just move that, shall we, into the little corner of the screen. I forgot to do that earlier. So that's the settings I use, for like an 80s kind of clean sound. Let's see what that sounds like. And then if I want to summon the ghost of the 80s in a different way, with all the kind of spandex poodle perm and Max Factor kind of leopard print sort of 80s hair metal kind of tones, then I've got this preset here. This is one that I created myself. Well, I didn't create it myself. I sort of modified it, I think, from the preset in Guitar Rig called Early Edward. Again, sort of a Van Halen-ish kind of tone. I've just messed with the delay and reverb a little bit on it, and that sounds like this. Then, when I want to get me country trousers on and, start a little bit of chicken picking sort of stuff, there's a fantastic preset in Guitar Rig called Country Twang Clean, which is these settings here. And once again, this is what it sounds like. So there you have it, folks. Those are my favourite AmpSim plugin settings. Things that give me a tone or tones really, that I'm really rather happy with, which was a big factor in me kind of deciding whether or not to spend, there's my phone going off, to spend, thick end of 500 quid on going down the Marshall Origin 5C and two notes torpedo capture, basically going down that route. It's just like, well, what am I really gaining by doing that? Maybe you know, maybe you'll disagree with me, but hey, it is what it is. And that's the video for today, folks. As I say, the tab for that solo earlier on, let's just plug it again, is up on my Patreon page. It's in Guitar Pro and PDF formats, jam track, clip of me playing the solo and everything. $3 or £2.50 a month, and you get access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. Thank you so much, as I said, to everyone who supports me in that, or any of the other ways that are linked down in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful and entertaining in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not give me a like while you're at it. And I'll just take this opportunity to bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.